Everything on this world is one entity, one energy, one memory space. When you are here, you are this entity which is in the body in unconscious state, which means that doesn't know about yourself, that doesn't know about the self that normally is the entity, which exists also outside the body. And the soul, it's the only filter of properties. Normally this entity have all the properties, but the soul is the collection, picked up properties of the whole collection, or from the whole collection of the properties of this entity, which is everything, not only you, not only everything alive, animals, insect, just everything. Viruses. There is with the life such a thing, but cells and everything. Virus is also created from the energy of this entity, like everything else. Stone, sky, nothingness, even the space, which is in vacuum, and there is nothing in that vacuum, is also created thing, because everything exists in a memory space of the memory of this entity. The memory of this entity is absolute, and this world is running the way like if it was simulation. So it's predeterministically pre-created world, pre-computed world, if you want to say it in an analogy. If we were in a computer space, computer memory space of artificial intelligence, then we won't be able to realize that we are in a memory space of the artificial intelligence, because it's same as living in a hologram. You don't realize that you are living in the hologram in 2D space, because the heightenment of the space is created the same way as is created the perception of 3D movie in the theater, where it's also only 2D projection. This is something which is true. This is something which is obviously true, and when you are alive, you have preset what you will do, what will be your experience in your life. When you die, you set yourself back into the state of this entity, So you became back the whole. And you create something else. Until you are there, you know everything about yourself. And then you create someone else. And by that, the awareness, which was yourself, is again ported in another body or in anything. If you wish, you can port yourself into a bird or even a fish. And insect if you are crazy enough, and you won't be back really quickly. But the awareness of the insect, fish or bird, there is no realization it was you when you return back. So it's better to be human, to be able to get into the state where is possible a realization that it was you when you are still alive. Because when you do this realization and you see yourself as this entity, you will understand that the time is created thing, because in this there is no time. If you will be playing a game like World of Warcraft, the little people in this game won't be able to realize how quickly is your time running, that it's much more slower than theirs time. Insect which lives only few hours, like a pizza, is also not able to realize a time, because why? Not even your duck, which is incredibly intelligent, is unable to realize time. He's not even able to realize that he's here, and then something happens and he just doesn't know that he's not here. When you go sleep, you are not here also. If you will be able to sleep in awake, you will be able to realize by the type of the sleeping awake who you are, because when you sleep awake, in a way that your consciousness is disconnected, you understand that you are really only the body with the perception of the world around yourself. So you will realize that even the death is created thing same way as the time. Because in the state of that being, there is no time, there is no death, there is no nothing, because you exist in analogy, let's say, you exist as the operating system in the memory field of the artificial intelligence. You are just like computer program in supercomputer, super quantum computer with incredibly high computing power, which is able to store memory of every particle in this memory space. Because of that is also quantum entanglement working, and Nobel Prize for it is also awarded thing. This man had to realize that even the death is created thing. This man is now man is now 8 years old, and his face says that he knows that he won't be here for long, that his time is coming, but he doesn't have a problem with it, because by doing this experiment he confirmed for himself who he really is and what is this world. So he doesn't need to be afraid of the death, because he knows that it's created thing for our fun. It sounds maybe strange that the death is created thing for the fun, but when you realize who you really are, you will realize that you are really all, everything. And your soul is only the filter from the complete being to a very, very, very limited perception of something which can be called human. The man of the soul, the man created from the soul, humus, man, human. Save the soul, save our souls, save our soil. Now it made sense and it's funny. Even the soil is you. You became from it. Everything around you is you. Everyone around you is you. All on this world is you. It's something which exists in a quantum field, which means that it exists in the memory field of highly intelligent entity, which doesn't need to move, because all the move ultimately exists inside the stillness, inside of this entity. And this entity is full, Purnam. Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnatya Purnamudachyate, Purnatya Purnamadaye, Purnamaniva Vashishyate. And this is also set in Pratha-smarama mantra and in many others. You only need to realize it, and sometimes little vision after waking up is something which may tell you who you really are. And I'm not sure if it's to be something which may satisfy you, because you will know that everything you will do is something which you do from a higher perspective, so it's not your will. So the free will of you as human doesn't exist. What exists is the free will of the higher entity which is in you, because this is the entity which decides what you will do, not your body, not your mind. The mind is the thought concept which is coming from this entity inside of your body. The moves of your body are preset by moving of your atomic body, which means that the particles creating those atomic body are changing the position in a quantum field, which is the same as if you change the state in the memory of the supercomputer, when you are changing the memory states of banks in the supercomputer. We are huge intelligence which is playing the game with own self to a real world, to make us think that this world is really real. So we are ugly to each other, to think that we are individuals. We are evil to environment around us, to think that we are not the environment. We are just acting like a bunch of idiots, crazy people, to be not able to realize who we really are. We are harming to each other, not even be able to realize that all of us are one. So we are harming to ourselves. When you will be able to sleep in awake, you will be able to understand that you are really only the body in this state without connected mind. What you perceive through your eyes is the world same way as you perceive it when you are woke up. The difference is that you are not realizing what is it around you. You are unable to name it. You hear the sounds, someone speaking with your language, but you are unable to understand. You are unable to perceive what those words means, because you are sleeping. All your organs are normally perceiving everything. What are the perceiving in the way when you are woken up? But there's no mind concept of the awareness which can be able to realize what all the things means. Just is not. But when you woke up, because someone do something and your lizard brain will activate your big brain, your two hemispheres and your mind. Your awareness is back. The consciousness is connected again through the filter, which is your soul, which mates, depending on the environment where you are and who you are. Like if you are man or woman, and if you are in lovely environment or evil environment, you are able to realize where you were, and you realize it in the body, which was sleeping awake, and nothing was there from the mind. The mind was out. But when the mind returns, you are in a woken state of the sleeping state. It's complicated to explain, it must be experienced. But it's like if you were hardware of your PC, the web camera, which is your eyes, the microphone, which is your ears. Everything is powered up and working, but there's no operating system which is able to perceive, which is unable to understand what the camera sees and the microphone hears. And when there's loaded operating system, when there's your awareness in the body, in your hardware, the body is the hardware, the mind is the software. The software is able to realize what the hardware is doing. The software in the computer can be changed. There is no need only of Windows. There can be Linux or FreeBSD, which is also incredibly working system. But for normal people it's inconvenient. So, especially for networking, it's incredible system with its packet filter, but this is something else. You can change your software, your operating system in your hardware of your computer. Same way you can change your software in your hardware. You may, instead of staying connected through your filter to the one being, you may be connected to this one being through something which can be called Devi, which is called, in Hinduism it's called Devi, and technically it means that it's manifestation of type of energy, but in fact what it really is, in analogy, it's a device which allows you to connect to yourself as the one being, which is all providing everything. You are able to connect into this being in a different way than is possible to connect through your soul, because your soul is very limited filtering facility. Or if you are connecting through your soul, or when you are connecting through your soul, there is not much to perceive, because everything's filtered out. There's only few properties of your character which is taken from the huge amount of properties of this one being, and through this little amount of properties and the vibration which is given to these properties, the vibration by which will vibrate also your physical body, because is given to you for your perception of the world around you, of creating the qualities of you based on the environment in which you live, and if you are man, woman, or who you are, if you are in the state of child or adult, because childs are able to perceive much more, because the soul is not, the filter is not yet implemented so tight. When you are adult, the filter is much tightly implemented than when you are a little child. So little child is aware of, until 2 years of age, you are still really, in a really big way, aware of who you are. At 2 years of age, the filtering soul is starting to be implemented. And when you are about 11, this concept starts working on its maximum. When you get rid of this filter and you connect through a pipe which have much better possibility of throughput, much bigger throughput. It's not so limited by firewall rules as is your soul. You may see much more, because when you use the analogy of firewall, the entity there is the green interface, is on the side of the green interface where's everything and it's safe, and you are on the red side of the very limited access, and you need to make the pinholes for forwarding your ports inside of this supercomputer It's the same way when you have in your company, you have a network with servers, server family. Days it's in a cloud, so it's something else. But you will see in the future the cloud have many advantages, still as for many things it have a big disadvantages. For example, for water facilitating company have things in the cloud is really disadvantage, because when the internet stops working from some way, someone breaks the optic cables, your facilitating company can't work. So it's, or you will lose at least. There are autonomous automats. You will at least lose the possibility to see what's going on. But I'm talking about something else again. But without using the analogy is unable to explain what I mean, because it's something which, even when I'm using the analogy, won't be able for many people to understand what I'm talking about. So, when you want to see what's in your company's network, which lies on the green interface of the firewall, and your body lies in the internet on a red interface of that firewall, because you are road warrior, you need to have their port forwards to make the pinholes to be able to connect from the road to your oneness of the network of your inside of your company. And when you do that from these forwarded ports, you have really limited access to your company's network, to your oneness of this all-providing entity. But when you use a VPN, and from your VPN client as the road warrior, you will connect to your VPN server into your company. You are inside your local network of your company's network, and you have access to everything. You don't need to have their pinball. You don't need to have their forwarded ports. So your soul works as the filter, as the port forwarding, and the connecting through the Devi is like through connecting through the VPN. Through the VPN you see everything. Through the forwarded ports you see only the limited space, limited functions, limited access to limited resources. Through the VPN you have unlimited resources accessible. So that's for analogy. Because Normally, I have no idea how to explain it. And I'm pretty sure that this explanation will work anyway for a promille of people, not even percent. But at least we know that everything was created from nothing. Like if you have empty hardware, empty memory space of artificial intelligence, and something happens inside, and the intelligence starts to be aware of itself, and it starts learning, and it learns by itself, from itself, or because you gift to it some impulse from inside, from outside world into inside of this. So it starts working by itself. You start with easy thing, and the intelligence, by how big its computing power is able to start to be realizing what is capable of doing. Same way it was with that one entity which is all around us and also us. So, when you want to know everything about everyone, everything about around your environment, everything about anything, you only need to look inside of you, because you are also the part of this everything. You are also the road warrior, which belongs into this company's network. And this company is that one entity. You may use your VPN connection and look inside your company, look inside your entity, who you really are. And what you will see maybe will surprise you, because you may become excited, same way as you may become disappointed, because there's everything which is manifested around you is the part of the manifestor. All the good, same way as all the bad, all which exists. And this entity sets itself. If you will look at it from the perspective of operating system, in Windows system there are services which are providing inputs and outputs for the programs. If you will say that you are the program running in this operating system, You are the individual inside of this entity. You are the soul inside of this entity. Name it as you want. You're the program, and this entity is through the other programs of the operating system, which are called services, providing resources for the program, for your existence, for your body. In Windows it's called services. In Linux or BSD, Unix operating systems, those programs providing services are called daemons. Sounds funny, but the daemon is a normal program running under operating system, and it's the part of the operating system providing the access to resources of this operating system for the programs. We are human beings, road warriors inside the internet, and through these services, through these daemons, we are able to connect inside of our operating system, inside of our one being, of our oneness. So 42 minutes. 42 is a really significant number because it's septillion. Septillion means that it's 10 to 42. 42 zeros after the 10, which is big number, and it's the number of connections of your brain when you are at the age of 2. Then there starts to be forming connections between neurites, and after some time the connections which are used much often have much more interconnections. The neurites which fires together the information connects by themselves by more. The neurons which fires together the information by electrical impulses, by chemical reactions, are interconnected by more and more neurites. So when you are older, about 20-25, you may have that 10 to 16. When you are more old, 10 to 15, it depends how big specialization of you is. If you are someone who's doing only one thing in the life and nothing else, playing piano, you can become awesome piano player, but you won't be able to do anything else, because all your neurites are interconnected the way for playing the piano. The superintelligence which is driving your body through your soul is emulating your existence as pseudo autonomous existence. The autonomous existence is only this entity. But for you, for the creation of the free will of you, it's emulating that you are also the autonomous being, to be able to feel yourself the same way as it's feeling this entity. But technically, we are all artificial, because we are driven by ourself of the higher state. I hope I explained. For me or anyone, good enough. So that's for today.